Welcome to the Tech Mobility Podcast, brought to you by Playbook Investors Network, your strategic partner for unstoppable growth. Visit pincommunity.org to get started.
I'm Ken Chester. On the docket, my review and impressions of the Toyota Prius Nightshade Hybrid, the secret life of dormant car brands, and Dr. AI, when a computer writes your prescription. To join the conversation, be it to ask a question, share an opinion, or even suggest a topic for future discussion, call or text the Tech Mobility Hotline. That number, 872-222-9793, or you can email the show directly if you wish. talk@techmobility.show. For those of you who enjoy Substack, you can find me, Ken C. Iowa. That's K-E-N, the letter C, I-O-W-A. I'm a proud member of the Iowa Writers Collaborative, and I encourage you to go over there and check it out. We got a lot of amazing writers, and our stable keeps growing. I think it's up over 100 now. From the Tech Mobility News Desk, I like to mix it up when it comes to the stories that I choose and try to report on. I don't want you to get stale. I don't want you to get bored. I don't want you to think that I'm harping on any one thing all the time. But it seems I just can't get away from AI this week. Really tried, and I'm sorry, I can't. I can't get away from it. This story comes from 404 Media, and the headline is Atoms for Algorithms. The administration's top nuclear scientists think AI can replace humans in power plants. And not just power plants, people, nuclear power plants. If you're a person of a certain age, if I say these terms, they'll ring a bell. 3 Mile Island, Chernobyl. These go back 40 years. And then there was the plant that got washed out in the tsunami back in 2011 in Japan. These were all nuclear power plants where things went wrong. In their grand scheme of things, one U.S. Department of Energy scientist laid out a grand vision of the future where nuclear energy powers artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence shapes nuclear energy in a virtuous cycle of peaceful nuclear deployment. Stop right there. You're talking about the same AI that needs humans in the loop, the same AI that tends to hallucinate, the same AI that can be gamed, and you want to equip it, turn it loose with a nuclear power plant management? Am I the only one that sounds a little crazy? No, it sounds a lot crazy to me. And I'm not one, I didn't think, to be in the movies, but the minute I heard that, the first movie, because I'm a person of a certain age, the first movie that came to mind was War Games in 1983, where the U.S. Defense Department turned over the decisions for launching nukes to a computer. And the computer went sideways. And the only thing that saved them is the computer figured out through logic, through running continuous scenarios, that the best way to win the game is never play it. Would AI be that wise? My concern is very simple. Human in the loop is important if for no other reason is to have a gut check, a reality check, a humanity check. And that's anything if you're using AI today. Because you don't necessarily know unless you rigidly control the information that you're training it on. You don't know the biases that get put into it, either on purpose or inadvertently. You don't know how it's interpreting that data and what conclusions it may come to. I'm not okay with this. This was his presentation of this scientist. It was held during a symposium in Vienna, and it described a world where nuclear-powered AI designs, builds, and even runs the nuclear power plants if they'll need to sustain them. But experts find these claims made by one of the top nuclear scientists working for the administration to be concerning and potentially dangerous, and I totally agree. Technology for technology's sake is not okay. Technology is great if it helps, if it enhances, if it helps you do better. But we're not at a point, and trust me, AI is not at a point where you can just turn it loose and think it's always going to do the right thing for the right reasons. It doesn't have empathy. It doesn't understand geopolitical pressure and things. You don't understand nuance. And if you're going to turn this loose with a nuclear power plant, we're already suffering because of years of drought of that knowledge that we are now just trying to rebuild around the world. Because when nuclear was hot back in the 60s and 70s, there was a lot of people that knew about the industry and all the nuance that it took to run a plant. With all the disasters that have happened and setbacks, yeah, they still built nuclear power plants, but the number of people with that knowledge, with that important knowledge, nuance and how to build it and what to do and how to do it, retired, got older, died off. And we didn't really replace all that knowledge. Then, here's the other issue. In this article, I don't know if they're talking about what we call traditional nuclear power plant or the rise of what we call these small modular reactors, the SMRs, that we've been reporting on here for the last year and a half. There are no SMRs in the United States right now. And you're looking at a minimum of 5 years to build one, 10 years before it's online, assuming everything goes right. So I don't know where they're going. If they're talking about doing this in the short term, they're talking about retrofitting the big nuclear power plants, the ones that were engineered and built in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. That scares me to death. These designs had inherent problems, which is why we don't build them anymore. The last one went online 5 years ago, in Georgia, and it came in way late and way over budget. I'm talking billions of dollars over budget. So it's not like we've got that talent here. And I don't get it. The whole argument that they're making is that because AI needs so much power, and because nuclear power, theoretically, is relatively clean, that it would make total sense because you're not having to move coal or natural gas or oil. Theoretically, nuclear power would be the solution. But your average nuclear power plant now is old if it's still operating. And in recent months, they're talking about bringing some out of mothballs and back to full strength. That takes millions of dollars. And is there anybody left around with the talent, with the knowledge, with the skills to do it? These are old designs. The industry future is not going that way. I can see using AI to research. I can see using AI to streamline processes. Where I get a problem is giving AI command and control ability for an energy that could go wrong so many different kind of ways. Full disclosure, I use AI. I don't use it for this show, but I do use it for research and other things. But I'm always the guy in the loop, and I've got a tight rein on what I feed it. Very tight rein. And I also compare its output to what I need and the source documents I'm using. And occasionally it goes off on a tangent, gets it wrong. And I got to bring it back and tighten the model. What kind of loop would they have for this is my question. I'm just not okay with this. Dystopian future. I don't, no. The Toyota Prius Hybrid has been available in the American marketplace for over 25 years. How does the current model stack up? You are listening to the Tech Mobility Show.
In business, opportunity doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Playbook Investors Network, we connect visionary entrepreneurs with the strategies, resources, and capital they need to win. Whether you're launching, scaling, or reimagining your business, our network turns ambition into measurable success. Your vision deserves more than a plan. It deserves a playbook that works. Playbook Investors Network, where bold ideas meet bold results. Visit pincommunity.org today.
Are you tired of juggling multiple apps and platforms for meetings, webinars, and staying connected? Look no further than AONmeetings.com, the all-in-one browser-based platform that does it all. With AON Meetings, you can effortlessly communicate with clients, host virtual meetings and webinars, and stay in touch with family and friends, all in one place and for one price. Here's the best part. You can enjoy a 30-day free trial. It's time to simplify your life and boost your productivity. AONmeetings.com, where innovation meets connection. Get started today and revolutionize the way you communicate.
To learn more about the Tech Mobility Show, start by visiting our website. I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. The website is a treasure trove of information about me and the show, as well as where to find it on the radio across the country. Keep up with the happenings at the Tech Mobility Show by visiting techmobility.show. You can also drop us a line at talk@techmobility.show.
Every great business starts with a spark, but taking it to the next level takes strategy, connections, and capital. That's where Playbook Investors Network comes in. We're your strategic partner for accelerating growth, navigating challenges, and capturing market opportunities before your competition does. Your business is more than an idea. Let's make it an impact. Playbook Investors Network. Your future starts here. Learn more at pincommunity.org.
The new gas and electric Toyota Prius runs 90% cleaner than most other vehicles. Obviously, nature approves.
Back in the day, people made fun of the Toyota Prius. They claimed it was underpowered, it was wimpy, it was weak. All those things people said. Well, fast forward to 2026, and all I got to say is who's laughing now? Turns out, Toyota knew more than all of us. The Prius is the longest-running mass-produced hybrid offered for continuous sale in the United States. Production started back in '97, with the Prius becoming first available in American markets for 2001 model year. Developed by Toyota to be the car for the 21st century, the Prius is sold in over 90 markets. Let that sink in. The Prius is sold in over 90 markets. 90. With Japan and the United States being its largest markets. The fifth and current generation of the Prius, which debuted in 2022, is offered solely as a 5-door liftback. For those of y'all in the know, if you remember back about 10 years ago, the Prius actually took a couple of years where it was a wagon and it was a few other things that they offered several different body styles. They got over it. They're not doing that anymore. The Toyota Hybrid is available in 4 trim levels, including Nightshade, which joined the lineup for 2025. Based off the XLE trim level, the new Nightshade model adds 19-inch black finished alloy wheels, black exterior badging, a black shark fin antenna, black front door handles, and black bumper trim, adding a dark, moody feel to the sleek and stylish sedan. The Nightshade grade also adds some spice with a new exclusive color called Karashi. Other exterior color options for the grade include midnight black metallic and wind chill pearl. Oh, the people who get paid to make these names up, really. Under the hood is the 5th generation of the Honda hybrid system with a 2-liter gasoline engine, delivered up to 196 combined horsepower and 152 foot-pounds of torque. Energy is communicated through the front wheels via an electronically controlled continuous variable automatic transmission. Models equipped with the electronic on-demand all-wheel drive system add an electric motor to power the rear axle. EPA fuel economy numbers range from 57 city, 56 highway for the LE front drive model to 49 city, 50 highway for the XLE Nightshade Limited all-wheel drive models. Cargo capacity is 23.8 cubic feet with the rear seats up, and towing is not recommended. Here's what I liked about the Toyota Prius. I love what I call its spaceship interior lines. It's fluid, it's smooth, it's modern, it's upscale. And this mustard yellow color that they brought it in, I'm usually not a fan of yellow, but boy, it did something for the car. With the Nightshade trim, people, guys and gals, gave me the thumbs up. Yeah, who's wimpy now? I really loved it. And for the record, so we're clear, I loved the 4th generation styling too, which was a little bit more out there, but I still thought it was pretty sharp. This mustard yellow added to the car's mystique and, like I said, got plenty of positive notice. When underway, the Prius delivered a performance that was smooth, responsive, solid, quiet, and comfortable. Boasting driver-friendly ergonomics, displays and control and switchgear were easy to use. The driver can choose between eco, normal, sport, and custom drive modes to optimize performance on demand. And in case you were wondering about the B gear selection with the shift lever, and that's B as in boy, let me demystify that for you, because I had to look it up myself. I was wondering. When selecting the B as in boy, as opposed to D as for drive, you are empowering the automatic transmission to apply engine braking or regenerative braking when the accelerator has been released on steep downgrades. Toyota recommends shifting into drive for better fuel economy overall and reduced noise, obviously. Railroads actually use this too. They call it dynamic braking. If you've ever seen a railroad locomotive at the end of a train, they actually use the traction motors to brake the train, to actually slow the train down. It generates a lot of heat, makes a lot of noise. This is kind of the same thing. The Prius features a low step-in height and a good outward view of the road with front and rear accommodations for 4 adults. The rear seating area provides good legroom with a center fold-down armrest that features dual cup holders. The split rear seat back folds virtually flat with the cargo floor, while a novel ridge piece prevents the rear seat belts from getting tangled in the seating latch, which is a great idea because I've done that more than once. The rear seat also provides easy access to 2 USB ports, and the rear cargo area also features additional underfloor storage space. Here's what I didn't like about the Prius. No spare tire, and the tires that are on the car are not run flats. Your only hope is the tire repair kit that's included with the car. Yeah, good luck with that. The hatch opener button is hard to locate on the rear hatch itself. The slope of the rear window could use the benefit of a rear wiper. And the rear hatch is not powered. The rear door handles are in a quirky place too. You got to go looking for them. And other than the added space in the back underneath the floor, there's a distinct lack of nooks and crannies for carrying and storing stuff throughout the cabin. So here's my bottom line on this. If you're looking for a modern, attractive, fuel-efficient people hauler, and you don't want to break the bank, and you travel with a few folks, you and maybe 3 of your best friends, even better if you and 1, then the Toyota Prius Nightshade is your ride. Comfortable, sophisticated, and responsive. It is the anti-truck for sure. The base manufacturer suggested retail price for the 2025 Toyota Prius Nightshade starts at $32,560. Destination charges add $1,125. Extra cost options on this vehicle include a 12.3-inch Toyota Auto Multimedia System, fixed glass sunroof, carpeted floor mats and cargo mat, rear bumper applique. I never get that right, but it's a decorative thing for the rear bumper. Let's just go with that. And dash cam. Total cost of the options, $2,653. Total MSRP, including options and destination charges, came to $36,338, which is not bad in today's world. Honestly, if you're looking for a family-sized car, mid-30s is where you're going to be at. And by the way, that's $14,000 less than the average price of a vehicle today. So as I keep saying, cars are the way to go because it costs less to buy. And this one will cost you less to run. And did I mention overall Toyota build quality? What's not to love? I could use a little more space, though. The end of production does not mean the end of life for car brands gone dormant. This is the Tech Mobility Show.
You've got the drive. You've got the vision. Now you need the right partner to make it happen. At Playbook Investors Network, we power ambitious leaders with the tools, insight, and investment connections to move faster, grow stronger, and lead markets. We're more than advisors. We're your co-pilots in success. Because in business, standing still is not an option. Playbook Investors Network, fueling ambition, delivering results. Visit pincommunity.org.
Did you know that Tech Mobility has a YouTube channel? Hi, I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. Each week, I upload a few short videos of some of the hot topics that I cover during my weekly radio program. I've designed these videos to be informative and entertaining. It's another way to keep up on current mobility and technology news and information. Be sure to watch, like, and subscribe to my channel. That's the Tech Mobility Show on YouTube. Check it out. Pontiac, Mercury, Plymouth, Oldsmobile, Suzuki, Daewoo, Hummer, Saturn, Saab. These are nameplates that have been discontinued by domestic automakers since the turn of this century, the last 25 years. There are others that can go back even more. Actually, a total of 50 since 1950, 76 years. But out of sight doesn't always mean out of mind for these moribund makes. This is topic B. Can you believe that taking care, selling parts, and maintaining brands that aren't made anymore is big business? Big business. And I'm looking for that number because I want to give you a number. I saw the number and wow. And I'm looking because it's actually in the billions of dollars here just in the United States. They call this the restoration side of the industry. Dormant brands generate billions of dollars in annual revenue for the nation's classic car dealers, machine shops, parts businesses, body shops, upholstery repair companies, fabricators, auction businesses, and other firms that serve the classic car hobby. Let me give you these numbers. Haggerty, they're the giant Traverse City, Michigan classic car insurer. Their own, and all they do is insure classic cars. Their own revenue topped annual revenue, $1 billion. Let that sink in for a minute. They estimate in 2024, just 1 year, 80,000 classic cars worth more than $3.5 billion were sold in the United States in 2024. Stop a minute. 80,000 classic cars worth more than $3.5 billion sold in the United States in 2024. And while there are no firm numbers for the classic car restoration industry, they do estimate it to be in the billions with a B dollars. But it's booming to such an extent that there is a shortage of technicians and skilled craftsmen. Who would think that there's a demand for somebody who knows how to rebuild a 300 cubic inch Ford straight six, a Chrysler 225 slant six, a Chevy straight six, and older. I had the distinct pleasure, probably about 10 years ago now, a little more, of having sole access to a very eclectic collection of Chevrolets that went back over 100 years. And I was in good with the fellow who maintained it, and I got a chance to get a lot of cool pictures going all the way back to one of Chevy's predecessors, what they call a Little, which is Lyttle. These cars sitting in a dedicated garage. If I had to guess, probably a little over 100 of them. From about 1909 up through, if I had to guess, probably up through the 70s, 1970s. He even had one of those GM's Dreamliners that GM built specifically for their cavalcade of their modern cavalcade that went around the country. I actually got pictures. I actually got a chance to be inside one of them. There were 6, and they were built in 1939. He's got one of them. Lots of money. Now, you may have recognized some of the names that I said, but there are other names out there. Studebaker, Scout, Travelall, which are international brands that Scout Motor Company is bringing back. There's still people, even though Scout's been out of production now for 46 years. The original Scouts, they were built for 20 years, 1960 to 1980. There's a fella, Automotive News actually covers him, right here in Iowa. He is the owner of the Scout Connection in Fort Madison. And they show him in a picture in Automotive News with a restored classic International Harvester Scout. He claims he's been working on Scouts since he was 9 years old. And he started his business back in the 80s in order to keep the Scout alive. Bear in mind, the vehicle's been out of production 46 years. And the oldest ones are 66 years old. If you owned a Scout that was built in 1960 by the International Harvester Company, it's 66 years old now, and there are people like this gentleman. His name is Lynn Faith. That's Faeth. Keeping him alive. He makes his living running the Scout Connection since 1983, selling restored International Harvester SUVs and providing repair and restoration parts for the brand's classic off-road vehicles and pickups. Scout was built in Fort Wayne, Indiana for its whole time. Fort Wayne. We're out here in Iowa. He's keeping the dream alive, and he's not the only one. And get this now. I'm not talking about existing brands and the older models of existing brands. That's on top of. I'm just talking about brands they don't even make anymore. DeSoto's, Plymouths, Mercury's. Let me try to think some more here. Just a whole ton. You probably never even heard of a Merkur. Ford imported those from Germany in the late 1980s. And if you were lucky enough to own a Peugeot 505 when they were selling those here in the 80s, but they don't sell them here anymore. Yeah. Ton of brands. Frazier, the Henry J, Nash, Rambler, Packard, Studebaker. These are all American names. Studebaker built in South Bend, Indiana, not Fort Bend, South Bend, Indiana. Packard, built in Detroit. And then a whole bunch of other vehicles if you want to go all the way back. Before there was Pontiac, there was Oakland. And you never heard of Oakland, look it up. Pontiac replaced that brand. Only to have Pontiac years later, now about 10, 15 years ago, going the way of the dodo bird. The auto industry is full of vehicles. made for a few years, caught somebody's attention, somebody's heart. They got one, they kept it, family memories. Nowadays, depending on how many were ever built or sold in the United States, they may be counting on fabricators, or maybe they're fabricating parts themselves. Fun fact, in Grinnell, Iowa, which is 50 miles east of Des Moines, there was a car company in that little Poweshiek County town called Spalding. Spalding built cars from 1910 to 1914 and was Poweshiek County's largest employer. The building stood well into the 90s. It's an apartment building now. But the smokestack stood for years, long after the plant was gone. The facility and the old buildings are still there. They've been repurposed, but they're still there. If you could do that for a car company that was only around 4 years, can you imagine other companies that built a few for a while? People fell in love with them, kept them, trying to restore them. Yeah, there's a whole industry, and it's worth billions upon billions of dollars. Who knew? Just because you got a business, don't mean you go out of sight. How do you feel about AI actually writing your prescription? A number of states are heading in that direction. We are the Tech Mobility Show.
Are you tired of juggling multiple apps and platforms for meetings, webinars, and staying connected? Look no further than aonmeetings.com, the all-in-one browser-based platform that does it all. With AON Meetings, you can effortlessly communicate with clients, host virtual meetings and webinars, and stay in touch with family and friends, all in one place and for one price. Here's the best part. You can enjoy a 30-day free trial. It's time to simplify your life and boost your productivity. aonmeetings.com, where innovation meets connection. Get started today and revolutionize the way you communicate.
To learn more about the Tech Mobility Show, start by visiting our website. Hi, I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. The website is a treasure trove of information about me and the show, as well as where to find it on the radio across the country. Keep up with the happenings at the Tech Mobility Show by visiting techmobility.show. That's techmobility.show. You can also drop us a line at talk@techmobility.show.
In business, opportunity doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Playbook Investors Network, we connect visionary entrepreneurs with the strategies, resources, and capital they need to win. Whether you're launching, scaling, or reimagining your business, our network turns ambition into measurable success. Your vision deserves more than a plan. It deserves a playbook that works. Playbook Investors Network, where bold ideas meet bold results. Visit pincommunity.org today.
Did you know that Tech Mobility has a YouTube channel? Hi, I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. Each week, I upload a few short videos of some of the hot topics that I cover during my weekly radio program. I've designed these videos to be informative and entertaining. It's another way to keep up on current mobility and technology news and information. Be sure to watch, like, and subscribe to my channel. That's the Tech Mobility Show on YouTube. Check it out. Okay. All right. I understand that this episode was very heavy in artificial intelligence. But one more, just please, one more. You're going to want to know about this one. Regardless how you feel about it, AI is already impacting your life, and we talked about this. Most of the time in ways you don't even realize. And since the introduction of ChatGPT in 2022, businesses and organizations, large and small, have raced to infuse AI into just about every aspect of their operations. Overall, results have been mixed. States are looking to use and regulate AI at the state level for a variety of duties and tasks. One state has launched the first state-approved pilot program that will legally allow an AI system to automatically renew routine prescription medications for people with chronic conditions without the interaction of a doctor. I don't know about you, but as always, I have questions. This is Topic C. Would you be okay for AI to be writing your prescription for your high blood pressure medicine, your diabetes medicines? Maybe you are on some cancer drugs. You okay with that? What about you maybe having this over time, but you're having a reaction? You have a question about it because maybe a new symptom or a new side effect that you've been taking this drug forever. What's it going to do? Well, if you are in the great state of Utah, Utah just launched the first state-approved pilot program in the United States that legally allows an AI system to automatically renew routine prescription medications for people with chronic conditions without requiring a doctor to click approve on every refill. They claim it's a major step in letting AI act inside the clinical decision-making under regulated conditions. Let me stop right now. Did you know that a number of states are using AI right now to deny people benefits, medical benefits, Medicare benefits in their state systems? There are several southern states that are using it right now without human intervention. People are getting rejected. They don't even know why. What makes you think that I'm going to have all kinds of faith in this? And it's important to note right now, before I even go any further, the FDA has not weighed in on this at all. The feds have not signed off. The feds have not reviewed it. The feds have not okayed it. So let me ask the first obvious question. Since bad actors can manipulate AI, how secure is it? What happens if it's compromised? Who's checking? How's this working? Let me give you the answer it gave me. First of all, the platform is developed by a health tech startup firm called Doctronic. And what they exclude, well, first of all, wait a minute, sorry. They do not issue new prescriptions. It's only renewal of existing prescriptions, not new diagnosis or first-time prescriptions for 190 common chronic meds. Things like blood pressure drugs, diabetes meds, birth control, etc. Higher risk categories like controlled substances, opioids, ADHD, stimulants, antibiotics for acute infection are excluded. This AI operates in something that Utah's calling their AI regulatory sandbox. You're going to hear the word sandbox a lot when it comes to AI. So let me explain what that means. It means regulators temporarily waive some licensure and scope of practice rules so they can study and evaluate the system live. They will give a certain amount of latitude to the pilot in quote unquote a sandbox. Theoretically, that means there are parameters that it can operate within those parameters, but it's not being held strictly to all the parameters. Hence the sandbox. Go play in the sandbox. It verifies identity and Utah residency online, looks at the patient's existing prescription history and asks clinical type questions. If criteria is met, the system automatically generates a refill order that goes directly to a pharmacy. If something looks unusual, gaps in data, safety flags, uncertain responses, the case is escalated to a human clinician. Early phases involve human clinicians reviewing a subset of the AI's decision for safety. I need to modify that when they launch it, the first 250 will all be looked at. And when they get a level of comfort, then they will sample. Here's my first problem with this. Only if it looks unusual to the AI, it will kick it out for human in the loop. Human in the loop is not necessarily in the loop. They're only in the loop if the AI detects an exception. I don't know about you. Being a person of a certain age, my wife's a certain age, we take regular medications for certain chronic conditions we have. But there are things that go awry, things that need to be changed, things that need to be modified. Not sure if the AI can handle that. Example, my wife's diabetic. And depending from time to time, they will, depending on one of her specialty doctors, may modify the dosage or the amount of medication, up or down. Same medication, but the dose is going to change. No idea at this point how that's going to work in terms of this. What if you got a question? Because again, the human clinician is only brought in if the AI determines there's a problem. What happens and who's liable if the AI goes south and they don't catch it? What if the AI denies somebody and you can't get, or it doesn't notify the clinician? So you're in this kind of AI purgatory. It won't let you go forward. You need this medication. You ran out. It's critical. But you can't get it. It's a weekend. The AI has gone sideways, and you don't have anybody to talk to. That's not okay. While proponents say there are built-in safeguards and oversight mechanisms, there's a lot of questions, both from practicing physicians, liability and accountability questions, insurance. What happens if it goes sideways? Who's liable? Who gets sued? Who takes responsibility? The state? The physician who issued it originally? Who? I mean, the AI, you can't sue it. You sue Doctronic? There are a lot of questions here. And it goes on for pages and pages, way more pages than I've got time to cover. I haven't even talked about any built-in biases that it might have, either intentional or non-intentional, and how it protects you against that.
This is the Tech Mobility Podcast.
Every great business starts with a spark, but taking it to the next level takes strategy, connections, and capital. That's where Playbook Investors Network comes in. We're your strategic partner for accelerating growth, navigating challenges, and capturing market opportunities before your competition does. Your business is more than an idea. Let's make it an impact. Playbook Investors Network. Your future starts here. Learn more at pincommunity.org.
To learn more about the Tech Mobility Show, start by visiting our website. I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. The website is a treasure trove of information about me and the show, as well as where to find it on the radio across the country. Keep up with the happenings at the Tech Mobility Show by visiting techmobility.show. You can also drop us a line at talk@techmobility.show.
Are you tired of juggling multiple apps and platforms for meetings, webinars, and staying connected? Look no further than aonmeetings.com, the all-in-one browser-based platform that does it all. With AON Meetings, you can effortlessly communicate with clients, host virtual meetings and webinars, and stay in touch with family and friends, all in one place and for one price. Here's the best part. You can enjoy a 30-day free trial. It's time to simplify your life and boost your productivity. aonmeetings.com, where innovation meets connection. Get started today and revolutionize the way you communicate.
You've got the drive. You've got the vision. Now you need the right partner to make it happen. At Playbook Investors Network, we power ambitious leaders with the tools, insight, and investment connections to move faster, grow stronger, and lead markets. We're more than advisors. We're your co-pilots in success. Because in business, standing still is not an option. Playbook Investors Network, fueling ambition, delivering results. Visit pincommunity.org.